Welcome back. Now, this unfortunate incident we were talking about at the beginning of the program, gang culture, the Ikoyi school story. On May 3rd, some secondary students in Ikoyi really went on the rampage and almost raped a whole group of girls after they had finished writing their work.
It's actually raped.
It's almost.
Almost.
What I saw.
Okay, almost.
Okay, you know when you finish your secondary school and you think, oh, it's the end, you know, you feel like you're on top of the world and you tear your school uniform, you don't need this anymore. And you know all that nonsense that we do when we finish writing our papers. But things have escalated. Boys in a secondary school in Lagos actually went to school armed with pairs of scissors. This means that this was actually premeditated. And at the end of the exams, they were attacking girls and cutting up their skirts and attempting to rape them. This happened, and we actually have an eyewitness in the studio with us. It's my pleasure to welcome a concerned parent, Mrs. Michelle Matthews, who witnessed some of what happened on that day. And we have a legal practitioner, Mr. Taiwo Akinlami.
Thank you very much, madam.
And we have Sholama Kindikwe, who's editor, Methodist Church, Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, quickly, in about 3 sentences, if you can, tell us exactly what you witnessed on May 3rd.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. On May 3rd, I heard commotion outside my office, but I'd heard it a couple of times while being in that facility. We'd been there for about 2 years now. I'm getting to 2 years, and I didn't pay mind. I was like, I hope there's no problem. And they said school children, they finished their exams and they're tearing their clothes. That was it. I commented that if they were my child, they will account to me for the clothes. And,
which I paid for.
Yes. And my son was there. So I gave him an earful and put him in the car and said, let's go. We got outside and the noise was overwhelming. Opposite my office, there was a crowd of boys around someone. It looked like a fight. So I entered my car. But when I sat down, that meant I was now lower. I realized that there was cheering on. It wasn't, you know, when a fight you want to break it. It was that they were cheering the boy on the girl. And in observing him, he already had drawn his trousers down and was trying to press himself into the girl. And I thought, am I seeing this in daylight? And that's when I realized that we had a lot of people looking on and actually had a few people come around recording. So I opened the door. Frankly, that's where I would say the whole process started. I got there and I was like, I called my security, why would you be watching this? Crossed the road. Of course, by the time they saw me coming, they broke up. One just scattered about and the girl huddles in one corner. I turn and I see another I see girls running. Now it's girls. I didn't say they were combined. So they were running from a distance. That look, I've seen it only in traffic when they say they are armed robbers. And you know, you're fleeing for your life and you're hoping I am not the one that drops. As that was happening, I turned and there was a girl that had now dropped. And they rounded up the girl. She lunged up and they pushed her back. And she lunged again up, struggling for herself. They cleared her leg. She still came up. What upset me that I now started shouting on the street. My street is, it's a major street. It's Norman Williams is a street that you know has a beginning and an end, and people take it as a side road on Awolowo. It's closed. Simple thing was that she lunged up anyway, and they hit her on the head and held her. And the guy took his scissors and just put the scissors behind her skirt from the back and ripped it open. Then tried to also push into her from the back while they were holding her and cheering. I became a different person. I went forward. I was shouting. They were looking at me. They didn't even want to break up immediately. Then they broke up and then she ran and held me. You know, it's much later that I looked at the bruises in my hand because she held me. And I was talking. The other girls came out. I thought I just had about 25 girls or so. And they were like, Ma, we've been on this street for a while. They blocked, because I was like, go through the back then if they're coming from here. They said, Ma, our school is here and there are many. And that pretty much was what I saw, that I decided to take action.
Mr. Makindikwe.
We need to take a break. We'll come back shortly. Please don't go away.
Yeah, welcome back. Just before we go on, I'd like to say that Lagos State Domestic and Violence Response Team were invited to this program, and they had promised to call us back, but for some reason better known to them, they haven't got back to us, but they were supposed to join us on this segment. Now, Mr. Makindikwe, now, this is a harrowing story. Now, to your mind, what do you think is going on? What's going on in the minds of those young boys who are committing this crime? Because it is a crime, and they're committing it in broad daylight, in full view of everybody.
The young men or boys, to say, they're reflecting what we see in the society today. I've worked at Obalende once, pastoring a church there. Just go under the bridge, you find adult films, sex films being sold for as low as 100 naira. And at the same time, this is a society that the male species is elevated higher than the female.